Boys and girls, it's time for another episode of Damien Ruins Horror Movies. My name is Damien, and guess whose new mask finally came? Right after I got to the point where I complained for 2 days, and then it showed up like a day later, because it took forever. My head wasn't so big, so it's squeezing the shit out of my nose right now. It looked a lot cooler in the picture. I still kind of like it though. It's a great Halloween mask because you can go out and party and still drink. I'm going to take it off now because it's smashing my head. And I can't see. Ugh. But before we get too far ahead, don't forget to take a minute to hit like and subscribe. And as always, this episode is brought to you by Cool Dude Inc. So go to the show notes and click on the link and go check out some shirts. Tonight we're going to do a quick 5 because I found that in the last couple days I've coincidentally watched a lot of revenge movies. I haven't done a quick 5 video in about a year and a half. It's a long time considering I've only been making videos for 2 years. So first we're going to go in order, newest, and work our way back. This is not every revenge movie ever made. And this will be spoiler free for the most part. I would just break down similarities. Point out similarities that aren't really spoilties. That aren't really spoilers. They're just more revenge tropes, I guess you'd say. So we're going to start with Becky from 2020, starring some girl and Kevin James, who I love. And this is a weird role to see him in because it's totally different. He's normally funny guy. He cracks me up. I really like him. And he's playing an evil guy who's after a key. And I will give this spoiler of this movie. They never tell you what the fucking key's for. He just really wants it really bad. And he's willing to... There will be many spoilers. Joel McHale plays a dad who's getting together with a woman because his wife died years ago. And she has a son. Becky she's not privy on the dad moving on thing, and she's like 13, so she's at this mixed stage where it's like, I don't need my dad anymore, but I don't want to share him either. Okay, mini spoiler, her dad gets killed by escaped convicts Kevin James in the gang, so she goes for revenge. That's all I'm going to say about that movie right now. I'm going to build up the premise to the next movie. Randy, starring Nicolas Cage from 2018. Some weird cult sees Nicolas Cage and his girl. And I'm not sure what the attraction is exactly because she's fucking weird. But they want her and they take her. And they do things to her. And then they eventually kill her in front of this mini spoiler. They eventually kill her in front of him, and now he wants revenge. And our next one, I'm going to just break down like the premise of why people want revenge. And then we will go into the similarities. The next movie is Revenge from 2017. And I've already done a full review on this. You can go back. I'll put a picture up or something. I don't remember what episode it is. It's the one that over 2,000 people have accidentally clicked on. So it makes me feel good because that's my most views. The only thing higher than that is The Thing, which I use Spritzy for. And I think it only got double, and that costs money. Revenge is about this girl. She's out with this dude. I think the dude was married. I haven't seen it in a while. But eventually, shortly, the dude gets sick of her. And his buddy's coming to town because they're going to do their annual hunting trip, which looking back, it's like, okay, you go hunting once a year with your buddies, probably only see your buddies once a year. Why are you having a little fling with a girl that night or the night before that? Come on. And then you're gonna have the audacity to get mad at her, and they basically push her off a cliff and leave her for dead, and that's why she wants revenge. Next up, which I just watched last night, from 1981, MS 45 or Miss 45. about this mute girl named Thana, and she works at a design school, or goes to school, to design school. I don't know if she gets paid to do it or not. And one day she's walking home, and she gets raped, like in an alley. And then she gets home, and I don't know if it's the same guy. I don't think it is. But she gets raped again, twice in one day. And that triggers her for revenge. Which, rightly so. I'm on her side. Team Thana. And lastly, we have the mother of all revenge films, I Spit on Your Grave, from 1978. Jennifer Hills is a writer who takes the summer off to go to a lake house and work on her novel. But some locals see her in town and decide, we want to fuck her. So she gets gang raped by about 5 guys, I think. And then they get her again. And then she gets home. They come back over and they get her again. So that inspires her revenge. So one thing these movies all have in common is the revenge theme, obviously. Another is, well, other than Nicolas Cage's character, they all happen to women. And a big thing they have in common is that once something bad happens to them, and then they decide that they want revenge, suddenly they're magically good at shit. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like when you watch Marvel movies, something bad happens to the characters, and then they become superheroes. But it makes sense. And they have to learn their powers and learn how to control it. You know, Spider-Man gets bitten by a radioactive spider, and then he gets superpowers, but he can't automatically just become Spider-Man. It takes a while. And you watch the process. Batman, he didn't get superpowers, but he's not Marvel. I know that. But something bad happened to him, but he went through a lot of training and had a lot of money, and then he became good at fucking people up. But in these movies, something bad happens to the characters. They become not superheroes, but they just know how to, like Becky. She suddenly, and hers is not totally over the top. The stuff she does, like stabbing a guy in the neck with the ruler, or taping a bunch of pencils together and using that as a weapon. But as the movie goes, it's like suddenly she can do more and more. And the fact that she's a 13-year-old girl, and these are grown convicts, and they're having so much trouble with her, it's like, who is this movie trying to fool? And don't get me wrong, I liked the movie, but it was still like, she has no help at all. And these guys actually start to be afraid of her after a while. And they're stupid. It's like, oh, why don't we leave and come back? Let's regroup and think of a plan. In Mandy, he's taken on... Yeah, I lied. There will be spoilers. I'll try and be as vague as possible. In Mandy, like at some point, Nicolas Cage gets like superhuman strength and crushes a guy's head with his hands. And there's just a lot of stuff. Like he's got this axe that he made. Like, oh, okay, the guy can make axes. Like from nothing. He just like pours hot metal into a mold and makes an axe and hammers it down, and it's this pristine axe. And like he can throw it like he's been axe throwing his whole life. Like, what the fuck? Why are you so good at throwing axes? In Revenge, and I covered this because like I said, I did a video on this, but the whole thing, and I still stick by it. It's like a dream or like a lie that she's telling. It's like, how do you just know how to do all this shit? Just things that you would never think of, like taking a beer can and making a campfire and then cutting the can open and spreading it open and getting it really hot and then putting it on your stomach to cauterize your wound. Like, who, especially in the amount of pain and on the verge of death that she was, who would ever think of that? And then MS-45, Thana, the mute, like she gets a 45. She takes it from the second guy that rapes her. And somehow that thing holds like 20 bullets at a time. I don't know how much a 45 holds. Maybe that's how much they hold. But it's like when she shoots people, it's not like boom, you're dead, or a boom, like a double tap. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like she's a fucking cop. And it's like, how are you shooting that many people? And nothing she did was that weird. She had weird decisions, but it was like there was nothing too crazy going on. It wasn't like she's doing backflips out windows and shit, but it was still like, it was an interesting movie. And I don't want to joke about rape because rape's not funny, but she does go back to work after the second rape. I think it's the next day. And her school work, whatever the hell it is, and her boss / teacher, whatever he is, he's like, "Jeez, yes, you haven't really been focusing, and you're kind of falling off here." I was just waiting for her to be like, I didn't know she was a mute yet. I was waiting for her to be like, "Hey, you're gonna have to take it easy on me. I got raped twice yesterday." But she's a mute, so she couldn't say that, so she just had to take his abuse. And then she like wrote him out saying, "Oh, I'll try harder." It's a weird movie. It's worth a watch, though. It's on Shudder. So is Revenge. So is Mandy. Becky is not. I Spit on Her Grave, I don't think is. But finally, with I Spit on Her Grave, it wasn't too crazy. The hanging, what's his name? The mentally challenged guy. That was probably the most elaborate thing, because other than that, like, she hit a guy with a boat. She cut a guy's dick off. And it wasn't like she threw a knife from 20 feet away and hit him from the side or something. She had him in the bathtub. So there wasn't anything too weird about that. But these are 5 good, hopefully I didn't ruin these for you, 5 good revenge movies. If you're in a vengeful kind of mood and you want to get sick with it, then these are 5 to go with. And coincidentally, I watched 3 of them, Becky, Mandy, and Miss 45, in the last like 4 or 5 days. That's what inspired me to do this. It's spur of the moment, and that's why if it sounds like I'm talking out of my ass, it's because I kind of am. So, I think that's going to wrap it up. I told you it'd be nice and short. I will see you guys next week.